Hey everyone, my guest today is Alexey Strygin. Alexey is one of the people that really wants to solve aging. He's working in the longevity biotech industry and he was there for the early days of Insilico Medicine. For those of you that don't know, Insilico Medicine is one of the most successful, biggest companies that combine AI and drug discovery. Alexey also worked as the Chief Digital Health Officer at Gero.ai, but now he quit this position to start to pursue his own projects. Today we got together because he's part of the organizing committee of Zelar City. Zelar City is a 6-week pop-up village in the heart of Berlin where people that are dedicated towards solving aging come together. So for 6 weeks, people from all over the world, be it entrepreneurs, founders, scientists, engineers, investors, they come to this place in Berlin and live in the same area and work on this problem, the problem to solve aging. I'm super excited for Zelar City, and I think it's one of the best places in the world that you can go to if you want to meet people that actually want to solve aging. But now enough about Zelar City. We're going to talk more about this in the interview. Enjoy my interview with Alexey Strygin. Welcome, Alexey.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How about you tell me a bit about yourself, like a 5-minute introduction about who you are and what you're working on currently.
So I'm Alexey. I've been in the longevity industry for almost 10 years already, and I've been converted to longevity as many people were by Aubrey de Grey. Probably circa 2012 or 2013, I was at his lecture, and it was like the first time when someone told the very important thought that we can do something about aging. And then I thought, it would be really cool to transition my career there. It didn't happen that time, so I spent several years in biotech, and then I met Alex Zhavankov, Peter Fedichev, and some other prominent people in aging, and at some point of time I transitioned to the role in the very early days of Insilico Medicine. So like I was one of the first employees there. So it was the beginning of my journey into longevity biotechnology, more or less full time after it. So my background is in economics and in biotechnology. I don't work quite well in the lab. Like when I was in the lab, a lot of people were doing much better job than me, and I realized, will stick to the business and economics part of things. And that's what I have done throughout my career. So I was this person in between business and science, in between business and medicine. So I was either helping business people to understand the complex topics in biotech and in aging as well. So one of my superpowers, if I have something like a superpower, is probably telling concepts in a very simple, understandable words to business people and lay public. Vice versa, I was helping scientists to focus on science, and if they would need to create a company or like calculate something or like do anything business related, I was the one who would do that for them or with them if I co-founded a company with them. So I was at executive and founder roles. I did also a company which was not related to aging. It was about 2016. I started a GLP-1 company. You all know about Ozempic. I have been knowing about Ozempic for much longer. And yeah, we did next in class molecule of the class. We did a lot of preclinical trials. We unfortunately were not able to attract funding for clinical studies at the time. So I was also quite recently, in my last role, I was part of Gero.ai. I was spearheading GeroSense. However, we stopped working together 7 days ago, so just recently.
Okay.
And now I am actually choosing what I'm going to be doing next in my career. Well, first thing I'm doing is I'm helping to organize Zelar, and it's well, first because I think it should exist, but second, it just for my own pleasure, let's put it that way, for my own convenience, such that I will have 6 weeks working on the very important stuff with people who think alike. So that's probably for me, it's like, why not to engineer something where I will work on my new project alongside the people who are also doing something against longevity. Or not against aging, but pro longevity. But we might find co-founders there. Who knows? Or again, now I have several projects I'm choosing with. So like some of them already have co-founders. Some of them are just ideas in my head. Some of them are. I have done some work already into actually assessing whether or not it's a good project. Some of them are, like most of them are startups, of course, because that's what I've been doing. That's what I do best. But some of them are also non-profit-like projects that would just move the whole industry forward, which I think is super important as well.
Okay, so do you want to share what some of the projects are that you want to work on, or are they still secret?
Yeah, most of them are still secret, but I probably can share something I have been bearing in mind for some time. Probably this May back at LBF retreat and Vitalism conference. They were head-to-head. I decided that, yeah, it probably needs to be done anyways. I'm thinking about something like longevity economics think tank or longevity economics advocacy group. Anyways, a body which would be dedicated to longevity economics. I think it's one of the low-hanging fruits in the industry. I think it's something that might just increase the amount of money that the industry gets. It might be useful both for getting governmental funding. When you have some numbers, it's usually much better than you have like zero numbers or just like napkin calculations. And I think longevity, like a deep longevity economics work would be helpful in that case. And it also would be helpful for attracting private money in form of donations, because we intuitively understand that it's very important that you can like add a lot of quality adjusted life years by conducting R&D in aging and longevity. But for someone like a billionaire or like a millionaire who are ready to donate some amount of money for the cause of just improving people's life, they would like enter some site and they would read that, well, the best way to spend the money would be like mosquito protection in the Africa. Like, oh, I'll just do that. Yeah. This is because someone has done some work into actually assessing how much life years will protecting against mosquitoes with that. Vaccines, like in developing countries. Something like that have been existing for some time, and people have calculated the effect. But very few people did this for longevity. There are two longevity economists, Andrew Scott and J.L. Shansky. They've done some work, but this work is mostly unknown outside the industry, and it lacks a lot of details. It's good. So there are some important thought and calculations, but you can do much more with this. I think there are a lot of granularity that can be added for that, and that might result into increasing the overall amount of funding. I mean, it's something that I couldn't say it's not obvious that we would need to, try to influence either a state or a billionaire, but I just think it's a tool which is underused by by our industry right now.
Okay. Did you know a bit about Zelar City? Did you ever join a project that is similar like Zelar City?
Yeah, I've been to Zuzulu. I was quite, I wouldn't say skeptical. I didn't quite understand what's it about when I read about it. I was like, what? There are some like strange words. They didn't make quite sense, but like there were several people I respect and know were there, and I'll just go there for the longevity week. And yeah, I came there for about 8 days, and if I were to choose now, I would go there for like the whole 3 months. 8 days were great. I mean, first, again, I was living amongst longevity people, and it's usually the best times in my life when I'm amongst my tribe. Even like short conference feels great, but if it's a week or like Zelar 6 weeks, I mean, I can't imagine how great that would be. So. Yeah, I was at Zuzulu, and I didn't go to Vitalia, unfortunately. The trip was quite long. Like it needed to take like several days and a lot of money for me. But yeah, I will probably go there at some point.
Okay, very cool. So, about Zelar City specifically, is there something that you're most excited about?
People, yeah, as I said, just spending a lot of time nearby people who care about the same thing as you. It's exceptional. It's a great feeling. I don't know why not everyone is excited about living longer. In my opinion, like everyone, it should be everyone's first priority in life, just to extend it as much as possible. But yeah, people kind of don't do that for some reason. They don't think that way. For me, it's so strange. And when you meet these people at longevity conferences who said, yeah, of course, we need to improve lifespans. That's so short. Let's do that. You was like, yes, finally, I'm talking to people who are thinking like me. It's so good. Like it's a very obvious thought in my opinion, but for some reason, some people say they don't want it at all. Some people say, yeah, it would be cool, but I wouldn't bother doing anything about it. I'll just wait. Probably it happens, whatever. But like, this would be 6 weeks amongst those who care. And also, like at the conferences and live amongst those people, the conversation get very deep. So you start exploring like the nuances, and come up with new ideas. And so I think within 6 weeks we can go very deep on some topics that I'm passionate to work about. And like as I said, longevity economics might be one of those. I have one project in mind that I hope to finish during these 6 weeks for longevity economics, but specifically if I will get some help from people there, because I can't code. Yeah, I can my coding skills are like 1 out of 10 probably. So there is not much coding needed for this project, but it would take me like a week or two to learn the necessary skills to code this. But like someone who can code can do this like in half a day or something, like day, probably even faster. So yeah, so I'm super excited to
Yeah, I really understand. Like I have the same feeling. Like for me, it's so obvious. Like when I started thinking about like what is the most meaningful thing that we can do that we can do now. Like either you work on a project for the next 80 years, or you solve aging, and then you can do as many projects as you want. Like there's
Yes.
like it's very obvious and it's very strange to me that so many people are like, no, 80 years are enough. And I'm like,
I'll just die in 80 years. Yeah, why not?
it's okay. Like if I think the best we can do is give them the choice, and if somebody wants to decide to die after 80 years, it's okay. Like but
I agree.
to have the choice.
The choice,
yes,
the
exactly.
choice should be there. I'm kind of like, if they want to die, please go ahead and die.
Yes.
But I would love to have a choice.
Yes, exactly. I really agree with this. So, about your personal story, what was the specific point? Or you said the lecture with Orbit Gray. So was that like the turning point where you like really started going into aging, or did it like slowly begin?
It slowly began there. So I started thinking about aging a lot. So I was like, it probably makes much more sense than just treating individual diseases. And it would be great, but on the lecture, it seemed too good to be true and a little bit far away from where I was. But then I met, as I said, similar people who were like Insilico. When I met Alex Zhaurenkov, he didn't start Insilico, like when I first met him.
Oof.
Yeah, so but he was already in Asian, of course, and then he started Insilico, and at some point after I joined him. So probably, and of course, when I start thinking, going to the conferences or just speaking to people who are in the industry again. Yuri Degin, who is the Use Bio founder, I know him for 10 years. And Peter Ferichev as well. All of them, I know them from that times when I was still kind of thinking that, it would be cool to work on agent, but it's probably too far away. But then I realized these people just go ahead and start working on agent. So like I might as well join them.
How did you manage to catch up? You say you have a background in economics, and so all this knowledge that you need to work on aging, how did you manage to get all this?
Well, as I said, I have formal degree in biotechnology, but I didn't learn that much, and to be honest, on the degree. Just conferences and reading. So again, I'm in the biotech for almost 15 years. So slowly researching, teaching yourself about biology, and then biology of aging, and then things start, come together and you understand more and more. And still, I'm far from understanding how the human body works, but I'm much better than most economists. I'm pretty sure about it. Just the enthusiasm and ability to learn. So that's most important. We have all the information is available for us online, free. You just if you want, you can teach yourself anything. So just go ahead and do that. So I listen to MIT courses, to Coursera courses, Stanford courses. Just read papers and books. At some point, you spend a week on reading a paper, then you spend a day, then you spend several hours. And then you can kind of glance on paper and think, it doesn't worth reading, or I want to read this, but I see the main result, so it sounds kind of cool. So and you?
No, I personally, started. I'm studying AI, but to catch up with all this biology, I started with. It's called Longevity 101. It's a course, I think, also by Insilico Medicine, or it's not directly by Insilico Medicine, but it's connected to them. And I found this, and I think that's really good to get an overview about what are the different pathways, what actually are the hallmarks of aging, and all the basic stuff. I'm still starting out. I'm trying to learn. I'm starting to listen to many podcasts and like audiobooks and try to get everything in. But of course, it's slow and it's a lot that you need to learn. Do you have any specific courses or books that you recommend for people starting out?
Yeah, I really like Nir Barzilai's book. I really like Andrew Steele's book, Ageless. Nir Barzilai is called Age Later, as far as I recall. So they are good. They're definitely worth reading. So any other books that
Or
come
maybe
to
courses,
mind?
like you said, MIT courses?
I also did Longevity 101 and 201, which you were referring to. They are also, Alex Zhaurenkov is one of the lectors there. So I did that. You can. This is a good intro, but it's quite short actually. So there is longevity intro set of lectures recorded at Zuzelu by LBF. These are also good, so you can go ahead and go watch these. I also see, like, I either try to go at IRDD in person, or then they release all the lectures online and I just watch them. So it would be, so you need understanding of aging or biology to watch them for the, usually, but it's like the best way to see what's at the edge of aging science, because it's probably most advanced conference over there. I think Longevity Summit Dublin also publishes their lectures, several months after. So these are also good. They're a little bit more friendly towards general listener, but like almost the same as RDD. Also Lifespan.io have good materials. So they do good intro videos, and they do a lot of articles, deep dives into some topic, which are written for more or less general public to understand. So they're doing quite a good job into digesting complex topics such that more people would understand them. And I donate to them, so I call all listeners to donate to them as well. They're doing quite a good job. Longevity technology is a good source for keeping up with like a business part of longevity, or like the further longevity industry, the wider longevity industry. And the other resource is Spanner, SPANNR.com. It's a little bit smaller than longevity technology, but I think they do a great job. They focus on both business and some applicable longevity topics as well. Yeah, that's the major sources of news for me, and Twitter as well. So I am subscribed to scientists I respect and writers in longevity. So. But it's kind of like I still procrastinate in Twitter for the most part, but sometimes you get like some important news there.
About people that are in the longevity field, who are the persons that you look up to?
As I said, Nir Barzilai, I think, is one of the scientists who does great work. Brian Kennedy, of course, he has done a lot of important work in the industry, both scientific and organizational. Matt Kaberlein is very scientifically prudent and has done, again, they were, I think they are from the same lab as Brian Kennedy, so they basically worked together for a long time. Alex Zhaurenkov, of course, I was working with him and I've been learning from him both from my Insilico days, and then I just observe how he operates as a CEO and founder of Insilico, which is almost a unicorn right now. So I'm not sure about when, but they're definitely going to IPO at some point. And we've seen that BioH Labs just did an IPO. I think Alex publicly said that they thinking of an IPO. So like we need to wait a couple of years. So I of course follow him and his work. Peter Fedichev, of course, I had the privilege to work with him. He's one of the smartest people I ever met. And that's so cool that people like that are working on longevity. Adam Gries and Nathan Chang, of course, I think the Vitalism work is super important. And LBF work is very important as well. Mark Hamelainen, I hope I didn't butcher his family name. He's also from LBF, and he was doing last deaths camps before. So their work in bringing more people to longevity is very important. And I think through LBF I met so many important people, and if I haven't been there, I will probably didn't go to Zuzulu and to Zelar. So I think just because I now know so many people in the industry, it's thanks to LBF. So they do very important work. I hope, of course, Aubrey de Grey. Again, he's doing very cool work right now with testing combinations of interventions on mice. We already see that some combinations work better than just individual drugs. It's preliminary data, but it seems
mice,
it will be in final data as well. It really seems that way. And he has done a lot of work into, again, converting people to longevity cause. So I think it's a very important work in the industry.
Yep.
Well, I follow Celine, who is doing Loyal. I think it will be the first FDA approved product for longevity. Though it will be in dogs, but I think it's a very important step. We've been talking about this step for 10 years ago when I joined the industry. We already were talking about why not to first focus on pets, but at the time the world was not ready, the VCs, the industry was not ready. But 4 years ago when Celine started Loyal, finally the industry and the humanity was ready for this idea, and they founded Celine. So I think they will bring the first drug within 2 years. I think that's the timeline. Hope nothing will stop them from it. Andrea Meyer, I think is great. She's doing a lot of work into actually creating this specialty called longevity doctor, which we don't have right now. You can find this as an idea, but you cannot go to Harvard Medical School and get MD in longevity medicine. That's our holy grail. Yes. So we want to have a doctor to which we come and say, look, I don't want to age. Give me something. Yeah. So she's doing very important work with Healthy Longevity Medicine Society, alongside Evelyn Bischoff, so I follow them both. I think Andrew Steele is doing good work in popularizing longevity. He wrote a good book, Ageless, which I told you about earlier. And he also thinking of doing longevity economics think tank. So we will discuss it at Zelar because he will be there. So we definitely will discuss it with him. I think he's good. There is another interesting guy, Nick Palmarini. He is focusing on longevity cities. So making people who are mayors and who are responsible for running cities to actually build and manage them in a way that they are conducive to longevity. And again, we can do a lot of stuff today with lifestyle. We can add a lot of years to our species. And I think it's very important to do it today, because then it would be easier when longevity drugs will become available. People will be more ready for these drugs, because they will have like vocabulary, they will have just be fine with the idea that lifespan should be extended, like healthy lifespans should be extended. And then let's first extend it with healthy lifestyle and diet, and then why not to take some drugs or interventions. I don't know what will help us solve aging, but something from it. I hope, if I forgot someone, I'm sorry. It's not because I don't respect you. It's because I have poor memories and probably started aging already.
I think that was quite a good list. Actually, a lot of people will look into all of them. So another question is, what in your opinion, or what do you think is right now in the longevity field, what is the biggest problem that definitely needs to be solved so we can be able to solve aging?
Yeah, to be honest, I was talking about longevity economics because this May I was going to 2 conferences with the idea to see what is the biggest problem right now and what people are working on. So my aim was to actually think deeply about it. And while going there, I was having 3 ideas in mind, 3 main bottlenecks. First one was people. So we don't have enough people. We think there are about 10,000 people who are doing some work related to longevity, like full-time or part-time or that are involved. So it's good, but it's we need millions. So I thought that is a bottleneck. Second bottleneck I thought of was data. And as AI engineer, you are probably quite aware of that the data is a very big bottleneck. So we need to teach AI based on a lot of data. And in biotech, aging, we just don't have enough data to teach something like a large language model that was taught on the whole internet. So that was the second bottleneck I thought of. And the third bottleneck was money. However, I came to conferences to talk with people and think about what the most important bottleneck is. And it appears to be money, because you can first just to give existing 10,000 people twice as much money, and they will have a lot of stuff to test and to do, or 3 times as much money. A lot of people would probably love to work on something related to aging or longevity, but the wages in big tech and in cancer research are much more better, and we don't have enough vacancies. So if we just had more money, more people will come naturally, just because they might earn their living doing the very interesting stuff. And data also can be solved by money. So I was thinking how to do a decentralized data contribution. It was not only me, a lot of people, Alex Strygin actually included, were thinking how to build data collection software at scale. But people tried, and the biggest problem with that the data is low quality. Various people have various data to upload, or if you ask everyone just upload your last blood test, this data is not as meaningful. And so basically, to solve this bottleneck, in my opinion, there should be a centralized or quasi-centralized effort like UK Biobank at larger scale. So UK Biobank generated so much scientific advances in medicine, and it was done with 500,000 people. So if we would have something like that, at the scale of tens of millions of people, we would understand much more nuances. And if we would have more longitudinal data there. So like you can both have more people and more frequent data sampling. So it just costs a lot of money because the organizational effort is huge. And you cannot build something like that in a decentralized manner where people just contribute something. I don't think it's feasible. So again, it should be a Manhattan-like project, just like a huge humanity biobank, right? I said quasi-centralized because I think the best would be if this project would be something like international space stations, where like several dozens of nations contribute their money, and with biobanks there would be the same, like several countries would be doing the same data collection protocols and then combine the data together and then to benefit all the researchers and companies in the agent field. So yeah, and now I'm quite sure that money is the biggest bottleneck. I just think our scientific understanding of agent today is not at the point where we really understand why aging is happening. So I cannot really bet on any mechanisms that would solve aging. Like definitely there are some that seems more interesting than the other, but there is a funny quote. So like I usually say we don't even understand the definition of agent. We don't, like, people just struggle to define it, but it's even funnier than that. People cannot really decide how to spell it because like Americans and British spell agent differently. So like even just spelling agent is a little bit harder. So I think we would just need much more resources dedicated to the field to simultaneously move science forward, scientific understanding forward, and the R&D efforts, including very radical efforts like, let's say, Gene Delivery Institute or replacement efforts.
Well, you said that the biggest bottleneck that we have right now is the money, but with also, as you said, that we don't even really know like what is the root cause of aging, and also like so many things are so unsure, like and also many of the projects you suggested are maybe not even that profitable. Like it's not too profitable to make a giant database if you don't have it like for a specific, you don't need it for a specific product. So how do you think we can solve this bottleneck?
Well, again, the moon program was not profitable. The Los Alamos and Manhattan project was definitely not as profitable. I mean, there were indirect profits and indirect revenues, which actually, in the case of a moon program, was assessed to be quite considerable. And like again, we don't want to talk geopolitics there. With nuclear weapons, they're also quite considerable. So that's why it's probably should be done by governmental money, because the impact will be not in like 5-10 years, but probably in decades to come. So yes, we don't understand aging and what it is, like what constitutes aging, and like we struggle with definitions, but we definitely see it's there. We understand aging somewhat, so we know about hallmarks. We know we have a lot of data that like we have some understanding how it's happening, and we understand that it can be affected. So we understand that given enough time and resources, we will come to better understanding of aging. So if we just increase the amount of resources, it will happen faster. So I think it's a very rational thing to do from like a governmental point of view, because just investing billions into curing these diseases of aging is not as rational as investing like the same amount of money into curing aging. And again, the impact will be felt from not not considerably big amount of money already. So like Agent Phil is getting about 2 to 3 billions a year of investment in the recent couple of years. So even 1 to 2 billion would greatly accelerate progress. If it's 10 billion, it would accelerate progress quite substantially. And 10 billion is like, if you look at European Union and United States, it's not as large amount of money. If you look at top 100 billionaires, it's like from half to like 5% of their net worth. So there are a lot of people for whom this also is not that much of a sum. Like it's huge again, but if I were a billionaire, I would just invest like 99% of my net worth into agent research. That would, I mean, even if it would add me like 5 years of life, of healthy life, I mean, it's just a very rational thing to do. Like, why do you need? I mean, probably after like $50 million, like the additional value you get from money is negligible. I mean, is there any substantial difference between like 50 million, 1 billion, and like 100 billion? So I don't think that there are quite that much difference in the actual quality of life you get. But if you get 5 additional years, you definitely get like in terms of area under the curve of life enjoyment, you will get much more. I mean, how much you can do in 5 years, how much you just, if you just don't work and just enjoy life, like how much more places you can visit. So I think it's very rational, both from billionaire standpoint and from governmental standpoint, given that we are right and we really can do something about it. And that's kind of a leap of faith, but it seems true. So like there doesn't seem to be any fundamental biological mechanisms that would stop us to decelerating or stopping aging or rejuvenation. So it's hard, but it doesn't seem impossible. So if we just pour enough resources, like 1% of global GDP, 2% of global GDP, it will, the result would be huge. And again, it's not that big of a deal. About 11% of global GDP is already being spent on healthcare. So like we already spend a lot of money on healthcare. Why not to just take 10% of it and spend it on aging, which is the root cause of a lot of other problems in the developed world. So for me, like the rationality is all over the place, but we need to convey this rationality to the actual resource allocators of the world.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. I really see this. Is there something that you think, like tiny group of like very dedicated people that like maybe are able to code or maybe have like a mixed skill set that they can do to actually have an impact, like to do something important, impactful to help us on the journey to solve aging?
Yeah, of course. We don't know who will solve aging. And like everything, like a lot of cool things in this world was done by like a group of dedicated smart people. So I mean, look at all the startups that they were founded by like 1, 2, or 3 people, and like of course they were built by probably like a group of like 10 to 20 very important engineers. Look at all the
I was not asking if it's possible, because I really believe that it's possible, but I was asking, do you have like, do you think there are like some things that can be tackled by like a small group Maybe if there are some people in Zelar City that come together and that are like, okay, we want to do something, like we are able to code, like maybe some other skills, and like
I need to think. The answer is definitely yes. I definitely think some progress for longevity economic calculation tools might be done in a very short period of time. So I have some granular ideas. I definitely will work on some of them at Zeller, and if I'm able to convince someone to help me, we will see what happens. I think so. Like in that short period of time, we won't definitely. It's not as useful to try to dive deep into the mechanisms of aging, like working with data or trying to develop drugs, but we can find like where are the niches for the companies to start there, for instance, or what is other ways to advocate the resource allocators to allocate more resources towards aging. So it might be like some hacks how to talk to 10 billionaires or like to like 50 country leaders, so like a special operation like action, like just I don't know like how to spam World Economic Forum in Davos with like I don't know 100 longevity people, just sponsor 100 longevity people and just go there. Like crypto did that last year, I think. Longevity people were there as well, so there were definitely I know at least two people from longevity who were there. It's Andrew Steele and Alex Strygin. Probably there were more.
So you say
yes, the answer is yes, but like I don't know like what's the actual
probably more on trying to convince people that are already in power to change something than actually creating something, especially if there's only
there is probably another possibility. So again, in my world, the biggest bottleneck is the money for the whole industry. The other way would be how to convince. So you can either convince 1 billionaire or 1 billion people to to contribute $1. So like if you will find a way to convey the message to 1 billion people and get $1 in exchange, that might also work.
Those were all my questions for now.
Cool.
Thank you a lot, Alexey. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope to see you at Zelar City. Do you want to say anything, any closing words, anything you want to give to the people listening to this?
Yeah, just convince someone to work on aging. I mean, if either switch your career or if you are not ready to do that, just tell people. It's super important that this is normalized, because for some reason the desire to live very long life, I mean like beyond 120, seems strange today. It seems like you look like a anti-hero or like this sort of bad vibes. I think it's because like the centuries of Western culture and like superhero movies where usually the bad guys are those who want to live forever or like be immortal and something like that. And I think it should be normalized. I think it's a normal desire to not to die. It should be normal desire. So help as much as you can. Switching career is best. Donating is great. Telling people about the industry is wonderful. So any help is appreciated. And I will see you at Zelar.
So that was my interview with Alexey Strygin. If you're interested in Zelar City, I put all the relevant links in the description. I'm going to be there. Alex is going to be there. Many other cool people are going to be there. I highly recommend coming. I hope to see you there, or maybe in the next interview. Bye-bye.